friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 588. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters, it is that time to get into another one of these true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious what the is going on type of videos. And today, we are going back to the man, the lazy man, better known as Lazy Masquerade. Back to the lazy man, y'all. And the title of the video is Last Photos with Disturbing Backstories. This has been a good week, my brothers and sisters over here on our channel, man. We've been cooking this freaking week, man. We got to go back to Jose Ortiz from Evil Intentions. Then just yesterday, we went back to Nick freaking Crowley. And now we got a new video from the Lazy Man. And tomorrow, we get to go check out the newest video from Ryan from Tragedy Tales. This has been a top tier week over here on our channel, y'all. And I hope y'all been enjoying it as much as I have. But I digress. We gonna go and get into the video. But before we get into it, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. We are back to the Lazy Masquerade. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go. The Lazy.
As regular viewers of this channel know, an eerie number of cases seem to take place in quiet little towns, and today's first entry is no exception. La Bulache, Argentina, a community of about 20,000 residents. A peaceful place, far removed from the violence often seen in larger cities. The perfect place for a kid to grow up. On the afternoon of June 29th, 2023, 14-year-old Joaquin Sperani rode his bike to school as per usual, though strangely didn't attend any of his classes. Instead, he left the premises with his lifelong best friend, a 13-year-old known only as Elle. The two boys had been close since elementary school, and their families often spent time together. That previous year, Elle had requested a school transfer so he could spend more time with his closest companion. Joaquin was an introverted soul who had few other friends and who was often the target of bullies, and so, naturally, he was over the moon with Elle's decision. That lunch break, the pair were captured by a local resident's security camera, walking side by side in the opposite direction of the school. This still shows them smiling and laughing. Unbeknownst to all but one person, it would be the last image captured of Joaquin, alive.
Damn.
Minutes later, that same camera caught footage of Elle returning to school grounds alone. He re-entered his classroom and sat in his usual spot. His classmates noted that he behaved normally, playing and laughing throughout the rest of the day. When Joaquin didn't return home that evening, his parents contacted the school's headmaster. When they learned that their son hadn't even attended any of his classes, the Speranis immediately reported him missing. Investigators quickly found Joaquin's bicycle, which was still chained up outside the school, yet there was no trace of the boy anywhere. After talking with members of staff, one eagle-eyed teacher mentioned that their student, Elle, had been using a different cell phone to the one he typically carried. Elle was questioned by detectives shortly thereafter, and they quickly determined that the boy's new cell phone was actually Joaquin's.
Oh,
The case-
that's it. It's him. It's L, man. Because the first thing that make you think it's L is just the fact that you showed back up to school by yourself. Where is Joaquin at? You know what I'm saying? But even after that question, why do you have his cell phone and he know where to be found, L? You got some hard questions to answer, buddy.
Had been painted in an effort to disguise it. Elle claimed that Joaquin had given him the phone as a present before running away from home, apparently fed up with the school bullies. Frustrated with what they considered to be passive police work, the missing boy's neighbors and family members took to the streets and conducted their own investigation. On Sunday, July 2nd, a search party entered an abandoned house on 480 Sarmiento Street, just 100 meters from the school.
Damn.
One member recalled what they found. We were walking with two of Joaquin's cousins when we passed an abandoned house. We went inside, and as soon as we entered, we saw the corpse. The cousins started screaming. It was like a horror movie. After discovering the body, Elle confessed that he and Joaquin had gone to the house together. They had apparently gotten into an argument there. A fight broke out, and Elle killed Joaquin in self-defense. Thing is, Joaquin had suffered 18 blows to the head.
Ooh.
At the crime scene, police found an iron pipe and a piece of concrete, both stained with blood. A lack of defensive wounds suggested that Joaquin had actually been caught unawares and struck from behind. Certain that there hadn't been any argument and that Joaquin's murder was actually premeditated, officers conducted a search of Elle's house. In the young boy's room, they found a stuffed animal with a piece of paper hidden inside. A note which bore Joaquin's name and that of another boy, along with the unsettling message, "Mum will soon forget about this." This discovery led Joaquin's family to fear that another classmate may have been Elle's next intended victim.
Yeah.
Due to his age, Elle couldn't be prosecuted in Argentina. He was held in a juvenile detention center for 3 months before being released to live with his family. He'll face no further consequences for his actions.
What?
In the minds of many local residents, it's only a matter of time before he indulges in his twisted fantasies once again.
Hold on, time the fuck out. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't be trying to cuss, man, but time to F out, man. Seriously. Are you freaking kidding me, man? And Lazy Man said it so casually. Did we just hear that right, Bean Team? This man ain't even get locked out. He spent a couple of months in juvenile, and now he just back out on the streets and not facing no consequences. When we all know, that it was not self-defense because he was trying to cover it up from the beginning. He lying, talking about the man gave him his cell phone because he was running away from home. You know, just telling crazy lies, bro. And showing back up at the school like you don't know where L went when both of y'all are literally caught on camera walking together away from the school. And he ain't facing no consequences. We too early in this damn video for me already to be getting frustrated like that. And I agree with a lot of Joaquin family members. L gonna strike again. I think he gonna strike again, y'all, because he's still young. And y'all done let him get away with murder. You mean to tell me he gonna live the rest of his life, his adult life, without trying or doing this ish again? When you already got a note that Joaquin wasn't even the only one on his hit list. This is cut and dry. Freaking murder. Lock this dude up for the rest of his life. The end.
Maintaining a good work-life balance can be...
I guess that's the end of that story, y'all, because now we at Lazy Man commercial. I was waiting on something else to happen or something. Are you freaking kidding me? That dude, he just got away with straight murder. Just literally got away with it. Ugh. Let's go to the next one.
Lazy Masquerade.
The Lazy.
Shrouded in secrecy, North Korea remains one of the most enigmatic places on Earth. The rogue nation has long been a magnet for the morbidly curious, in large part because her all-powerful leaders have such a tight grip over their subjects. They have full control over what people can and can't say, how they can and can't style their hair, even over who can and can't exist. One of the few ordinary North Koreans to improve their lot in life was Woo In-hee. Born in Kaohsiung, her exact date of birth remains a mystery, though it's believed she was born either in the late 1930s or early 1940s. Described by her family as a selfless, bubbly girl who loved to dance, a young In-hee spent the Korean War helping her relatives scrape by, and came close to losing her life several times as bombs struck her hometown. That tough childhood instilled in her a desire to live in the moment and chase her dreams, and so, after the conflict, In-hee moved to Pyongyang to pursue a career as an actress. Her charisma and good looks served her well, and just 1 year after arriving in the capital, In-hee landed the lead role in The Tale of Cheongyang, catapulting her to instant stardom. She went on to feature in dozens of successful films, including The Girl from Diamond Mountain, a movie in which she portrayed a character through all the stages of her life, from childhood to old age. In-hee received numerous awards, was honoured with the prestigious title of the People's Actress, and was considered by many to be the most beautiful woman in the Hermit Kingdom, with a curvy figure, a round face, and a girl-next-door charm. Her remarkable achievements drew the personal interest of many powerful individuals, not least the future Supreme Leader, Kim Jong-il.
Oh shit, this is not the right dude that you want to get his attention. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be around this guy.
At that time, Kim was the second most powerful man in the country, just behind his father, and being both a fan of In-hee's work and beauty, Kim granted her the rare privilege of travelling to Czechoslovakia to study acting. In-hee would go on to marry Yoo Ho-sun, the most renowned movie director in the DPRK, and together the pair had 3 sons. They also had what we'd now call an open relationship, with In-hee becoming involved with a number of her work colleagues. By the late 1970s, rumours about her many affairs had spread widely, leading to her workmates confronting her during a mutual criticism session, whatever that is. In-hee defiantly pointed out that many of her accusers were themselves involved in the affairs, making them hypocrites and no better than her. What followed this session can only be described as a monumental fall from grace. In-hee was stripped of her title as the People's Actress, blacklisted by the industry, and since she was effectively owned by the studio, was assigned a punishing job tending the boiler room for 12 hours each day.
Wow.
In 1979, In-hee was unexpectedly allowed to return to acting, and was even cast in leading roles again. Coincidentally, it was around that time that she began a new affair with her secret admirer, one Kim Jong-il.
Oh my God, man! Really? I'm sitting up here trying to tell her through the TV screen or whatever. You just the wrong dude you want to deal with, and come to find out you done got a crush on him of all people. And see, this one thing I gotta say too, real quick, y'all. This is just my opinion on that whole thing about her. She really like got blacklisted around here. We call it blackballed from her actress. Got all her stuff stripped away from her. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like the lazy man said that her and her boyfriend or husband, whatever, they had an open relationship. So if you got an open relationship, that means that you agreeing to letting your partner sleep with other people. You know what I'm saying, man? So what's the freaking problem? If he don't have a problem with his wife or girlfriend sleeping with other people, then what the freak are y'all mad about? That's just how I feel about that now. I disagree with it totally. You know what I'm saying? If we gonna be together, we gonna be faithful, or we not gonna be together. But that's just they prerogative, man. But the fact that now she having an affair with him, that is wild.
It's widely believed that in exchange for her body, Kim offered to restore In-hee's career. In-hee did agree to Kim's proposal, though in reality, it's hard to know whether their relationship was consensual. After all, refusing the heir apparent would have likely meant death, or even worse, life in a labor camp. Taking one look at this potato, I'm more inclined to believe that In-hee felt forced into the deal. Well,
I agree, man. I agree. Now that the lazy man has said that, I agree. I think she was forced into this because y'all already know who this. Well, if you don't know, man, you just know that he a dictator. He a Hitler wannabe, or probably just as bad as Hitler. Let's just say him and Hitler got the same ideologies. You know what I'm saying, man? So yes, I think she was forced into it because the lazy man said earlier that when they demoted her from being an actress, she had to start working in the boiler room for 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? If she would have not wanted to if she would have rejected this dude romantically or whatever you want to say, he probably would have either had her killed or even made her do some crazy type of labor, type of slavish type of ish. Let's go.
willingly or not, Inni would covertly meet with Kim at his request. Once he was satisfied, Kim would remind Inni to keep her lips firmly sealed. Nobody could know that their future leader was an adulterer. Well aware of the potential consequences if she blabbed, Inni promised to never speak a word of their affair, not even to her own husband, Ho-sun. To be on the safe side, Kim had another actor shadow her and report on her activities. She would be monitored for the rest of her life. After her relationship with Kim, Inni fell madly in love with a young Zainichi Korean who had moved to the DPRK for work. She was initially hesitant to date the man, fearful of what may happen if Kim were to find out, but the Zainichi eventually won her over. Since it was too risky to meet in public, they spent their time together driving around in his Mercedes. In the winter of 1980, the pair were discovered in that same car. The engine was running, and they were both suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Damn.
The man was pronounced dead at the scene. His name has never been made public. Inni miraculously survived and spent 2 weeks recovering in hospital. She was approached by the police while still in a disoriented and distraught state, and was subsequently forced to give a witness statement in which she let slip her belief that Kim Jong-il had tried to have her killed, citing their past romance as the motive. In her mind, Kim was either too jealous to let her move on, or feared that she would eventually make their affair public knowledge. Trouble was, she just had.
Yes.
After being held for several weeks in an undisclosed prison, Inni was told that she was free to go. Smiling, she was led through a set of heavy-duty doors. Ones that didn't lead onto the street, but rather onto the Kangkon shooting grounds.
Oh.
Before she could ask any questions, Inni was tied to a post in front of a crowd of 6,000 spectators. In the front row was Kim Jong-il. He had ordered Inni to be executed for revealing details about their affair. 12 gunmen then fired 10 rounds each at her from their AK-47s, mutilating her body beyond recognition. Her husband, Ho-sun, was forced to witness the proceedings. Following her death, Kim annulled Inni and Ho-sun's marriage and forced the bereaved husband to star in the propaganda film Unsung Heroes. The 6,000 attendees who had been forced to watch the event were all ordered to remain silent, for if they spoke about what they had seen, they would face the same fate as Inni. Despite that warning, the incident soon became common knowledge. In an effort to destroy not only her body, but also any evidence of her existence, Inni's name and image were systematically erased from magazines and film catalogues, and she was edited out of the films that she had starred in. In some cases, her scenes were reshot with a different actress, and in others, her scenes were deleted entirely, rendering their plots incomprehensible. Given that she only enjoyed fame within North Korea, Kim Jong-il's erasing of Inni was hugely successful, with later generations believing her existence to be nothing more than a myth. Indeed, this once household name may well have been deleted from the annals of history, had director Shin Sang-ok not managed to smuggle a photo of her out of the country.
Oh.
Sang-ok was a South Korean who was abducted by Kim Jong-il in 1978 and forced to make movies for him. But the wily filmmaker refused to let Kim have the last laugh. He made secret audio recordings of his conversations with Kim, which further exposed his tyrannical nature. And thankfully, Sang-ok was able to escape the country in 1986 with his wife. In 1988, he released a book, one titled The Kingdom of Kim Jong-il. It was published in South Korea and Japan. One section tells the story of Wu Ini, and that page's accompanying picture, a still frame from the tale of Changyang, is one of the last images of the actress that exists today.
Oh my god, man. It's just like, y'all, that whole dictatorship is so freaking crazy, man. Like, dictators, just the thought of one freaking human being having the control over thousands, and anything I say go. You know what I'm saying, man? Just the thought of he had the power to get these, I think Lazy Man said like 15 men with heavy artillery, you know what I'm saying? Automatic rifles or whatever may have you, to shoot this lady in front of 6,000 people. And then he got the power to tell these 6,000 people, if any of y'all tell any of this issues, have any problem with it, you next. Like, that is some craziness that I just really like, guys. This is one of the moments I just got to thank God that I wasn't born into no dictatorship type ish. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't born over there or at that time, and there's a lot of times through history when this was going on. To a certain degree, it's still going on right now in certain countries or whatever. Let me thank God that I'm in the United States, man. God damn, y'all. This stuff be so freaking crazy, man. It's crazy how they tried to erase her from, they literally, not even tried, they kind of did erase her from history. It's just luckily that one dude had kept a couple of photos and some evidence of her, because without him we probably would never even got this story from the Lazy Man, or anybody would have knew anything else about her, man. And at the end of the day, I do feel like she was forced to be in that affair with him. This one, and this, man, I'm just gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it alone. This one of them ones where if you don't agree with what I'm saying, I can understand. And what I'll say about that is, if you think that she really wanted to be in an affair with him, I can understand it, because she mama was a Rolling Stone. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had a lot of different dudes throughout her life, even while she was married. So if you want to say that, I understand that too. Nonetheless, another crazy story. I think we got one more to go, y'all. Let's get into it.
As you can probably guess from his name, Count Xavier Dupont de Ligons came from an aristocratic family, with his lineage including musketeers and even a castle in central France. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, he rubbed shoulders with other noble children while growing up in Versailles, a wealthy suburb of Paris and the former haunt of kings and queens. Xavier met his future wife, Agnès, in the early 1980s, when he was 20 and she was 17. Though not as highborn as Xavier, Agnès came from a traditional, conservative background and held many of the same values as him. The pair quickly fell in love. However, the adventurous Xavier wanted to explore new horizons while he was still young. Thus he broke up with Agnès and left to travel the world, a decision he soon came to regret. 1 year later, he returned to Versailles to find that Agnès was pregnant with another man's child. To his family's surprise, Xavier chose to marry Agnès and adopt her child, Arthur, giving him the prestigious Dupont de Ligons name. Marrying an unwed mother was nearly unheard of in Versailles at the time, but the couple went on to build a loving family in the city of Nantes, welcoming 3 more children into the world: Thomas, Anne, and Benoit. In 2011, the family were living at 55 Robert Schumann Boulevard, a modest house in an upper-middle-class neighborhood. Xavier was known to be a devoted father who was deeply involved in his children's lives. They were all enrolled in either prestigious universities or private schools, and from the outside looking in, the Duponts were living the perfect, privileged life. Yet despite keeping up appearances, Xavier was harboring a dark secret. His wealth was quickly running out. Having always relied on the family's coffers growing up, he had never had to make his own living. So now, as a fully grown man, he had no idea how to. When asked what he did for work, he'd describe himself as a salesman, though always stayed vague with the details. He had started numerous businesses over the years, that much was true, but none of them had been successful. Between 2001 and 2011, he was in a, quote, downward spiral of failure, and was being hounded by debt collectors. This was playing havoc on the now middle-aged man's mind. Concerned, Agnes took to the online medical chat forum, Doctissimo, where she described how Xavier had subtly commented, "A group death as a family wouldn't be a catastrophe." Ominous. At around 2 p.m. on April 11th, 2011, a neighbor noted that the Dupont family's house, which was typically full of life and noise, had been eerily silent for about a week. She tried to peer through the windows, but the shutters had been pulled. A note on their letterbox read, "Return all mail to sender." All of the family's cars were still outside the house, except for their Citroën C5. But if they'd gone on holiday, she thought, that vehicle wouldn't have been large enough to carry all 6 family members, their 2 Labradors, and their luggage. Over the next 2 days, that same neighbor observed the house and grew increasingly concerned, prompting her to contact the police.
Don't tell me this man to kill his whole freaking family because he down on his look right now. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, bro, we all go through troubles in our life. I have lost jobs, got fired, quit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus, it never made me say I want to go home and murder my whole freaking family. I don't know if that's where we going just yet, y'all, but it sound like it right now.
On April 13th, officers arrived to investigate. Everything appeared normal inside the residence, though some of the beds had their sheets removed, and a few closets were open. The police initially believed that the family had left voluntarily, and saw no immediate cause for alarm. The following day, several friends and relatives received letters from Xavier and Agnes, ones which read, "As you know, I've had connections with the US. The Americans have recruited me to infiltrate an international drug ring. This will be difficult. You won't see us for a long while, as we're going to change our identities, be under protection, and won't be reachable at all." Now that was ominous. However, due to Xavier's esteemed status, many of his frankly eccentric loved ones believed the story outlined in the letter to be true. Agnes's family was far more skeptical. They forwarded the letter to the district attorney, adamant that she would have never left without calling them. The police returned to the family home 4 more times to conduct a more thorough investigation, but noticed nothing particularly suspicious, aside from some missing items. However, during their 6th visit on April 21st, a lieutenant discovered something under the terrace in the garden. Large plastic trash bags, bound with tape. Inside the bags were several bodies, wrapped in blankets and duvets. One grave contained Agnes, Arthur, Anne, Benoit, and the family dogs. Thomas' body was found in a separate hole. Xavier's was nowhere to be found. Though the exact date is contested, it's believed that Agnes, Arthur, Anne, and Benoit were all slain in the early hours of April 4th. Later that day, Xavier called his son, Thomas, at university, and told him, "Your mother's had a cycling accident. She's in the hospital, in a coma. We don't know if she'll come out of it. You'll have to come home." Upon his return, Xavier took Thomas out for dinner to discuss matters. Waiters at that restaurant recalled that near the end of their meal, Thomas had become noticeably sick. An autopsy revealed that all of the children had sleeping pills in their systems, so it's possible Xavier had slipped a sedative into his son's drink. The victims were found in their pajamas, suggesting that they were killed while sleeping in their beds. Strangely, there was no trace of blood in any of the bedrooms, nor in the living room, the foyer, or the bathroom. When crime scene investigators collected samples, they found no fingerprints or DNA on anyone. All 5 of them had been shot twice in the head with a .22 caliber rifle, though, strangely again, none of their neighbors reported hearing loud bangs during the night. 3 months before the murders, Xavier's father had passed away. His dad too had blown all of his money, but Xavier took it upon himself to clear out his father's apartment, perhaps in search of some valuables that he could sell. While doing so, he discovered his father's .22 caliber rifle. Prior to inheriting it, he had shown no interest in weapons at all. After acquiring it, however, he began learning how to shoot. He even took 2 of his sons to the range, where he asked the instructor several questions, including one about using a silencer. Needless to say, Xavier was determined to be the prime suspect in the familicide. An international arrest warrant was issued for him, and detectives began scouring hotels and restaurants across France. Experts were able to build a timeline of events leading up to the slayings, one which highlighted just how thorough Xavier had been in his preparations. He had closed all of the family's bank accounts, bought a shovel and several bags of lime from different stores, had terminated Agnes' employment, and unenrolled his children from their respective schools and colleges. After the family's lives ended, Xavier remained in the house for a week before going on the run, bouncing from hotel to hotel. On April 22nd, they found the missing man's car in the parking lot of a Formula One hotel in Roquebrune-sur-Argens. After poring through the building's security footage, they came across something disturbing. The last known images of Xavier Dupont, captured on April 15th as he was checking out of the hotel. The footage showed him walking away into the wilderness, looking back as if to acknowledge the camera. This still was released to the public. So, what happened to Xavier? Well, it's worth noting that the area he was last seen in is surrounded by cliffs and mountains, leading many to believe that Xavier ended his own existence there. The police spent several weeks searching holes, caves and crevices in the area, but found no trace of the aristocrat anywhere. Some people speculate that Xavier outwitted everyone and successfully escaped overseas. In most cases of familicide, the perpetrator typically ends their own life on the spot, not a week and a half later. Xavier put considerable effort into deceiving the investigators at the crime scene, perhaps to buy himself more time.
Yeah.
Some believe he managed to trick them twice. First, by cleverly hiding his family's remains, and then by making it appear as if he had leapt from a cliffside.
And I can agree with that, man. I'm not saying that's what I 100% believe happened, but I can agree with that. He probably set up and staged his suicide. Let me put it in double quotation. He probably staged that y'all, and he might be still living to this day with a whole nother different name in a whole different country. You know what I'm saying? I can't put it past him because of how premeditated the actual murders that he committed was. And then it's your family, bro. And I'm not even buying. I don't care nothing about him talking about he lost all his money and all that. Man, you wanted to do this anyway. That's just a little lame ass excuse, but you wanted to do this for whatever freaking reason, but you wanted to do it regardless, man. It ain't have nothing to do with you being sad and depressed or none of that, man. You premeditated this. These are your children, dude. Like, what the freak? And like I said, y'all, I do believe that it is a strong possibility that he's still alive and he just staged that whole making it look like he was going to commit suicide.
Show that he didn't purchase any plane or train tickets in his own name, but Xavier could have easily taken a boat or used a highway or mountain path to reach Italy. He was multilingual and cosmopolitan, and could easily have started life anew in a foreign country.
Yep.
He was of average height and had no strong facial features, and would have found it simple to blend in near most anywhere. Other people, like Xavier's sister, Christine, are adamant that the bodies found under the terrace weren't actually Agnes and the Dupont children.
What?
In 2012, she told the media, Xavier and his family left for the United States because their safety was threatened in France. The bodies found under the patio can't be those of Agnes and the children. Though that theory does sound outlandish, it is strange that the victims' remains were cremated extremely quickly, just a few short days after they had been discovered and examined. There were also supposed discrepancies between the heights and weights of the victims found at the home and those of the family members. Though the bodies shared the same common DNA, no samples were compared with living members of the Dupont family to confirm their identities. That could all be chalked up to police incompetence, but several witnesses, including the family's neighbors and friends, attest that they had either seen or been in contact with Agnes and the children 4 or 5 days after they had supposedly been slain. Employing Occam's razor, the authorities' working theory remains that Xavier did kill his family in order to save face. He was known to be a vain and proud man who would do anything to avoid being exposed as a failure, and they believe he wanted to prevent his children from discovering that he was broke. He then either ended himself in the wilderness or jumped into the sea. In October 2019, a man suspected of being Xavier was arrested at Glasgow Airport in Scotland. His fingerprints partially matched Xavier's, but DNA testing confirmed he wasn't the missing aristocrat. Despite 900 other alleged sightings, Xavier de Pont-de-Lagon has never been found. Today, over a decade after vanishing, he remains a wanted suspect.
It's like, I don't know on that last one, y'all. Even that last theory, like the lazy man said, as outlandish that it may sound, but in this right here would make this last story that we just watched, it can become a rabbit hole if you start thinking about it too much. You know what I'm saying, man? I feel like we can start going down the rabbit hole, especially when the lazy man bring up the fact that Javier family was saying that was not even I can't remember the family. His family that he killed, or now I gotta put that in quotation mark. It's supposedly killed. That wasn't even they bodies up under there. You know what I'm saying? Now you gotta go into theories about that I don't even feel like going into, my brothers and sisters. Long story short, story long. But if you was to come up with a good theory of why you don't think it, and it is some type of evidence. Number one, that the reason that they got cremated real soon after that, they said it was Javier. I mean, it was they bodies that was found in that garden. Number two was because after the cremation, it was another thing, man. It was something else, y'all. Let me think about it, man. Let me think about it. After the cremation, it was something else that the lazy man said. I can't remember, y'all. I can't even freaking remember, man. I can't even remember what it was, man. But it was a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, but it was some things that'll make you question, like, maybe it wasn't the freaking I remember now. As long as I talk about it, I start to remember the fact of the discrepancies in their height and weight that was reported as far as the dead body. You compare it to the family that actually died. You know what I'm saying, man? It's a lot of issues, y'all. Well, we can go down a rabbit hole with that one. We can talk about the whole fact that it is Javier alive or dead. That's a rabbit hole, because you can make the argument that he did go and commit suicide. You can make the argument that he didn't. Only thing I want to say on that one before I even stop talking about it is, my main thing is, I don't think that he killed them because he was sad and depressed. Then you can get the hell on. You can take that excuse, turn that some bitch sideways, and stick it straight up your candy. You know what? You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that, y'all. But what was the second one, man? What was the second one? I ain't gonna try to hold y'all too much longer. Let's just check out the second one real quick. Oh, Erased. The I can't even remember her name, man. But they did that lady dirty, man. And it got dirtier as time went on, to the point where they took her life in one of the worst ways ever. And I'm not gonna even say even though they participated in it, but it was that one dude, man. That one dude, Kim, whatever, Wong, whatever, got control over the whole freaking country, man. Like I said, y'all, I'm just glad I'm not was never or was born in that type of situation where my country is literally ran by a dictator, and whatever he say goes, and he can do the most evil ish to you and get away with it, and there's nothing you or anybody else in this country can do about it. That is just so freaking sad, man. They not only did they defame and get rid of her career, they end up getting rid of her freaking life. Rest in peace to her, but I'm glad that it was some evidence to show that she actually existed, because they had got rid of all of that. And the first one, man, the first one is like, hold the freak up. The first one is the one that pee me off more than any other one, just the fact that this is literally freaking murder. All the evidence points to him. He even came out and said that he killed him, but he claimed self-defense. You know what I'm saying? But he came out after he got caught in so many different lies, and him telling lies will lead you to believe that he murdered him and it is not self-defense. Because if it really was self-defense from the beginning, you would call the police yourself and be like, I can't remember the little boy name, but rest in peace to him. He tried to kill me, and I had to kill him before he killed me, me or something. You know what I'm saying? But no, he lying, talking about he got the cell phone because the little boy gone out of town. No, now he not gone out of town. He ran away from home. Before he ran away, he gave me his cell phone. Stupid ish like that, man. Then he got caught, want to change his story up, move the goalposts, all that. All I know is, y'all, long story short, long. That dude, he not even a little boy no more. He a grown man and he out here free and he freaking murdered somebody. Freaking terrible. But I digress. I'm gonna go let y'all go now, my brothers and sisters. I appreciate y'all coming on back again. And before y'all leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. Come on back tomorrow for a rhyme from Tragedy Tales. And until then, my friends, also remember this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.